All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are going deep, deep into the pineal gland.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, right? It's that tiny little pine cone shaped structure hiding in our brains.
Right.
And honestly, I always thought it was just like all about sleep. But the sources you sent over, they're hinting at a whole lot more going on in there.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating little gland. And you're right. I think most people know it for its role in sleep regulation.
Yeah, melatonin and all.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm seeing these connections to mood, like seasonal disorders, even like ancient spiritual traditions. It's like, when you start researching something and you're like, oh, this is way deeper than I thought.
Yeah.
That's totally happening right now.
Well, maybe we should start with the basics then.
Okay, yeah, let's ground ourselves.
Okay, so picture this. The pineal gland is nestled deep within the brain, almost like it's hiding in plain sight.
It's incredibly small, about the size of a pea, but it exerts this powerful influence over our bodies.
Pea-sized and powerful. All right, I got that image in my head.
Yeah.
So how does this tiny thing, actually work? Because it's not like we're consciously telling ourselves to go to sleep.
Right, exactly. And it's all about light and darkness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You naturally start feeling sleepy when the sun goes down. Well, that's your pineal gland responding to that decrease in light.
Oh, okay.
It receives signals from your eyes, and then it starts producing melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate that sleep-wake cycle.
So it's like our built-in light sensor telling our bodies when it's time to wind down.
Exactly.
Okay, but some of the studies that you sent, they suggest it's involved in more than just sleep.
Yeah.
So what else does this little gland, what else is it doing?
Well, there's growing evidence that it might play a role in regulating mood, even influencing seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, SAD, exactly. That feeling of low energy mood swings that some people experience during the darker winter months.
Oh yeah, I've totally been there.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the pineal gland could be tied to that?
It's a possibility, yeah.
This is getting really interesting.
Researchers believe that changes in melatonin production, driven by those, the shorter daylight hours in winter, may actually contribute to those SAD symptoms.
Wow. Okay, so this tiny gland is multitasking like crazy.
It is.
It really makes me wonder if those ancient cultures that revered the pineal gland as this third eye were onto something.
Yeah, that's where things get really, really interesting.
Okay.
Cultures across the globe, from ancient Egypt to Hinduism, have always placed this mystical significance on the pineal gland. For example, in Hinduism, it's associated with the Ajna chakra,
right?
The so-called third eye, which is believed to be like the center of intuition and spiritual insight.
And didn't the Egyptians have their own version of the third eye too? I vaguely remember something about the Eye of Horus.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
The Eye of Horus, this really powerful symbol of protection and knowledge in ancient Egyptian mythology, actually bears a striking resemblance to a cross-section of the pineal gland.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So you've got these ancient civilizations separated by like vast distances and cultures, and they're all focusing on this tiny gland in the brain.
It really makes you think.
It can't just be a coincidence, can it?
It's certainly thought-provoking, and this leads us to one of the most controversial and fascinating aspects of the pineal gland. Its potential connection to DMT.
Wait. DMT.
Yeah.
As in like the spirit molecule, the powerful psychedelic.
Yes.
Hold on. Are you telling me our brains might be making a psychedelic drug?
Well, that's the hypothesis put forth by Dr. Rick Strassman, a researcher who's done extensive work with DMT.
Okay.
He suggests that the pineal gland might actually produce DMT during certain states of consciousness.
Like what?
Like, deep meditation or near-death experiences.
Okay, that's blowing my mind a little bit. Yeah. So those profound, like, mystical experiences that people have reported throughout history, could those be linked to like a DMT surge from the pineal gland?
It's a possibility, but it's important to emphasize here that the scientific evidence is still limited.
Right. We're venturing into like uncharted territory here.
Exactly.
But even if it's not DMT, it still makes you wonder what else could be happening in our brains to create these like inexplicable, almost transcendent experiences.
It's a fascinating question and one that scientists are still grappling with.
Yeah.
The pineal gland is like this tiny enigma holding secrets that we're only beginning to unravel.
Speaking of secrets, our deep dive also uncovered some concerning stuff about this gland.
Oh.
Like pineal gland calcification.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds kind of scary.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
Well, calcification is essentially the buildup of calcium deposits in the pineal gland.
Okay.
It's a natural process that happens as we age.
Uh-huh.
But there is some concern that it might interfere with the gland's ability to produce melatonin.
So our pineal glands are slowly like turning to stone.
Well, not exactly turning to stone.
Okay.
But the buildup of calcium can be a problem.
Okay, and is that bad? Like, is that something to worry about?
Well, it's not ideal.
Okay.
You know, if calcification disrupts that melatonin production, it can lead to sleep problems and potentially even impact other functions of the pineal gland.
And didn't our research mention a connection between fluoride and calcification?
Yes.
You know, like the fluoride in our water and our toothpaste?
Some studies do suggest that fluoride exposure might contribute to pineal gland calcification, though, again, more research is needed to really understand how much of an impact it really has.
Wait, so our toothpaste could be messing with this already mysterious gland?
It's a possibility.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
What can we do to prevent this whole calcification situation? Like, give it to me straight.
Well, while it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional for personalized advice, of course.
Of course.
There are some general things that might promote pineal gland health.
Okay.
For example, you could consider reducing your fluoride intake.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, you could try using filtered water and look for fluoride-free toothpaste options.
Okay, that makes sense.
An antioxidant-rich diet is always a good idea.
Okay.
Foods like turmeric, raw cacao, leafy greens are packed with antioxidants that may help protect the pineal gland from damage.
So we're talking like superfoods for the super gland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got it.
Also, practices like meditation and mindfulness, which are often associated with stimulating the pineal gland,
right,
are worth exploring. Interesting. So calming the mind might actually help activate this mysterious gland.
It's a possibility worth considering.
I'm seeing a theme here.
And lastly, don't underestimate the importance of sunlight.
Okay.
Getting enough natural light during the day and then limiting that artificial light exposure at night can help keep your circadian rhythms in check, which is essential for optimal pineal gland function.
Okay, so we're talking like a holistic approach here.
Yeah.
Clean water, healthy food, meditation, sunshine.
Exactly.
It all sounds, honestly, it sounds pretty good for overall well-being, actually.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taking notes.
Remember, these are just general suggestions, so it's always best to consult with a qualified healthcare professional for that personalized advice.
Great advice.
Yeah. You know, before the break, we were talking about like ways to support pineal gland health.
Right.
But what about when things like go wrong?
Yeah.
Are there any specific health conditions that are directly related to this gland?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I have to admit, like, all this talk about calcification has me a little worried.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm wondering, like, what other kinds of trouble can this little gland get into?
Well, one condition that comes to mind is a pineal gland tumor.
A tumor?
Yeah.
In such a tiny gland?
Yes. While they're rare,
okay,
tumors can develop in the pineal gland. Mm-hmm. They can be benign or malignant.
Okay.
And they can cause a range of symptoms depending on their size and location.
So what kind of symptoms should we like be on the lookout for?
Well, given the pineal gland's location, you know, deep within the brain,
right,
even a small tumor can cause problems.
Okay.
You might experience headaches, vision changes, or difficulty with balance and coordination.
That sounds pretty serious. And
yeah.
And since we know the pineal gland is like all about melatonin production,
right?
Could a tumor mess with our sleep too?
Absolutely. A pineal gland tumor can disrupt melatonin production, leading to sleep disturbances.
Okay.
And even problems with sexual development in children.
Wow. Okay. So I guess the takeaway here is if we notice any like unusual symptoms like the ones you mentioned, we should definitely get checked out by a doctor.
Exactly. Early detection is key.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got tumors, we've got potential calcification issues. Mm-hmm. Anything else we should be aware of when it comes to like keeping this little gland healthy?
Well, we touched on fluoride earlier, but there might be other environmental factors that could impact the pineal gland.
Like what? You've got me curious now.
Research in this area is still developing.
Okay.
But some scientists are looking into the effects of heavy metals, like mercury and aluminum, on pineal gland function.
Okay.
There's also concern about the potential impact of electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, from all the electronic devices that we use.
Interesting. So it's not just what we put in our bodies,
right,
but also what we're exposed to in our environment that could affect this gland.
Yeah.
It's kind of a double whammy.
It is. It seems the pineal gland is particularly sensitive to certain environmental influences.
Yeah, it's almost like this tiny gland is like a canary in the coal mine, sending us like signals about potential dangers in our modern world.
Yeah.
It makes you realize just how like interconnected everything is.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of taking a holistic approach to our health.
Yeah.
Considering, not only our individual choices, but also the wider environment we live in.
Okay, so we've talked about the risks.
Right.
But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
What about the more positive side of things?
Yeah.
Are there ways to actively stimulate or enhance pineal gland function?
There are a number of practices and techniques that have been used for centuries to try and activate or stimulate the pineal gland. Some of these are rooted in ancient spiritual traditions.
Right.
While others are more contemporary.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more.
One popular technique is meditation.
Okay.
Many spiritual traditions believe that meditation can help to open the third eye.
Right.
And enhance intuition and spiritual awareness.
That makes sense. Meditation is all about like calming the mind and tuning in to like deeper levels of consciousness.
Exactly.
It seems like that could create a more receptive environment for the pineal gland to do its thing.
Exactly. And there's actually some scientific evidence to support this.
Oh, really?
Studies have shown that meditation can increase melatonin production and even alter brainwave patterns in ways that might be beneficial for pineal gland function.
Okay. So meditation is on the list.
Yeah. What else? Another practice that's often associated with pineal gland activation is yoga.
Yoga. Okay.
Certain yoga poses, like inversions, are thought to increase blood flow to the head.
Okay.
Which could potentially stimulate the pineal gland.
Interesting. So getting upside down might actually be good for our brains?
Well, as with any physical activity, it's important to practice yoga safely.
Of course.
And under the guidance of a qualified instructor.
Right.
But yes, some people believe that inversions can be beneficial for pineal gland health.
Right. Yoga's on the list too.
Yeah.
Anything else? I'm feeling like I need to book a meditation retreat and sign up for a yoga class ASAP.
Well, there's also the use of sound frequencies.
Sound frequencies.
Yeah. Some people believe that certain frequencies, like binaural beats, can resonate with the pineal gland and stimulate its activity.
So basically listening to specific sounds could potentially activate the pineal gland.
That's the idea.
It sounds a little out there, but I'm open to it.
There's a whole field of study called sound healing.
Oh, wow.
That explores the potential therapeutic effects of sound on the body and mind. Whether or not it specifically targets the pineal gland is still up for debate.
Right.
But it's certainly an interesting area to explore.
Definitely. Anything else?
Another technique that's sometimes mentioned is visualization.
Visualization, okay.
This involves consciously directing your attention to the area of the pineal gland.
Okay.
And imagining it being activated or stimulated.
So we're talking about like the power of the mind to influence the physical body.
Exactly. Visualization is a powerful tool that's often used in various healing modalities.
Right.
Whether or not it has a direct impact on the pineal gland is still unclear.
Okay.
But it's certainly worth exploring.
Okay, so we've got meditation, yoga, sound frequencies, visualization. It sounds like there's a whole toolbox of techniques we can use to potentially tap into the power of the pineal gland.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm starting to see why this little gland has captivated people for centuries.
It really is a fascinating area of exploration.
Yeah.
And it's important to approach these practices with an open mind.
Right.
And a sense of curiosity. What works for one person might not work for another.
Of course.
So it's all about finding what resonates with you and your individual needs.
I love that it's about personal exploration and discovery. And and who knows, maybe in the process we'll unlock some of the mysteries of this incredible gland.
Indeed, the journey of understanding the pineal gland is as much about inner exploration as it is about scientific discovery.
Well said. Well said. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From the biological basics to the spiritual mysteries and even potential health risks. But there's one more area I think we should touch upon.
Oh. And what's that?
You know, all this talk about the pineal gland being like a potential gateway to higher consciousness.
Right.
It makes you wonder about the bigger picture, right?
You're right. We've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Stay tuned because we're about to go even deeper into the mysteries of the pineal gland.
Welcome back, everybody. It's been quite a journey with this pineal gland thing, hasn't it?
It really has.
I mean, from sleep cycles to like ancient myths to potential health risks.
Yeah.
This tiny gland really packs a punch.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
And I think what's really captivating is how the pineal gland sits at this intersection of science and spirituality. You know, for centuries, people have associated it with these mystical experiences, higher consciousness. And now modern science is starting to kind of uncover some of the biological mechanisms that might underlie those experiences.
Right. It's like those ancient cultures were tapping into something profound even without like the tools of modern science.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of starting to connect the dots.
Exactly. It's fascinating to think about how practices like meditation, which have been around for millennia, might actually be influencing the activity of the pineal gland and potentially even altering our states of consciousness.
Yeah, it's like we're rediscovering ancient wisdom through the lens of modern science. But, you know, all this talk about the pineal gland and consciousness, it raises some interesting questions too. Like if we're able to understand how this gland works, and maybe even influence its activity, where does that lead us?
That's a great point. It brings up some important considerations about the future of pineal gland research as we delve deeper into this area. We need to be mindful of the potential implications, you know, both positive and negative.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, if we could develop technologies or therapies that could directly target the pineal gland.
Okay, yeah.
Could we unlock new levels of human potential?
Right.
Or could we inadvertently open a Pandora's box?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
It is.
Like, on the one hand, the possibilities are incredibly exciting. Like, imagine being able to harness the power of the pineal gland to improve sleep, enhance creativity, or even facilitate spiritual growth.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the potential for misuse is definitely there.
Absolutely. We need to proceed with caution and ensure that any research or applications related to the pineal gland are guided by, you know, ethical principles and a deep respect for human autonomy and well-being.
Yeah, it's like we're on the cusp of like a new frontier of scientific exploration, and we need to make sure we're prepared for the journey ahead.
I agree. It's a time for both excitement and careful consideration. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the pineal gland, we must do so with wisdom, responsibility, and a commitment to using this knowledge for the betterment of humanity.
Well said. Well said. And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about this incredible gland. It's clear that the pineal gland is much more than just a sleep regulator. It's a gateway to a world of mystery, potential, and perhaps even a deeper understanding of ourselves.
As we wrap up this exploration, I encourage you to keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring the wonders of the human brain.
Yeah.
After all, the greatest journey of discovery is often the one we take within.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating deep dive into the world of the pineal gland.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep those minds open and keep exploring the mysteries of the universe, both inside and out.